Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're doing well. The Armaf Club de Nuit line of fragrances is probably the most popular cologne fragrance line in the world. It seems like everybody out there owns at least one fragrance from the line, usually Club de Nuit Intense Man, but still. Today what I'm going to be doing is going over 16 different fragrances in the Armaf Club de Nuit line that are marketed as either unisex or masculine. I'm gonna let you guys know the overall sentiment of these fragrances online, which ones are more popular, which ones are least popular. I'll let you know how much you can expect to pay to pick each one of these up for. I'll let you know what I think about them, whether I think they're worth picking up or possibly picking up or not. And of course, I'll let you know what each one of these is a clone of. So yeah, that's a lot of stuff, And knowing Armaf, by the time I put this video out, within a month or two, there will probably be even more Club de Nuit fragrances that have come out. So yeah. Each one of these fragrances will be linked in the description below, so feel free to check them out down there. They'll be linked to discounters where you can pick them up for a better price. And as always, here are some discount codes to save you some money at different websites. GS11 will save you a flat 11% off at fragflex.com, which is a new discount website. Then of course we have Twisted Lily and Max Aroma for those niche fragrances and Triple Traders for clones. Okay guys. Let's do it.
Let's do it, guys.
We're gonna kick things off with the OG Club de Nuit Man. Who would have known when this came out what was going to come afterward? Because truth be told, this isn't something to get insanely hyped about. Who would have known that this would end up being the biggest clone fragrance line ever? So nowadays you can pick this up for about $23 online. That's gonna be for a 105 milliliter size bottle. And this one is a clone of Paco Rabanne's 1 million. It has cinnamon, amber, cloves, orange, ginger as some of the notes in the fragrance, leather as well. And the overall rating for this one as of this video on Fragrantica is a 3.94 out of 5. So the overall sentiment on this is, I would say, mixed, leaning positive. Now, one thing to know about this is that for a time, this one was known as having decreasing power, like the longevity, the projection was getting worse as time went on. But the sentiment on that has changed. And nowadays, the word on the street is that if you buy a new bottle of this, that the performance is actually ramped up and it is stronger than it's been in the past, and that now it performs very, very well. So be aware of that, but also be aware that I have not bought a brand new bottle, so I can't tell you that independently here and say, oh yeah, for sure, that's what's going on, but a lot of people are saying that. Now, as far as being a good clone of 1 million, it is. It's actually a really nice alternative to that fragrance. So if you wanted 1 million on the cheap, you could pick this up and use it and get very close. Another alternative that is quite inexpensive is Halloween Man, the original that comes in the little purple bottle. That's also very inexpensive, and that's also quite similar to Paco Rabanne's 1 million. So there you go, Club de Nuit Man, very affordable, a good alternative to 1 million, and the new bottles apparently have improved performance as well. I think that if you want a cheapy version of 1 million, that this is one of the best ones you can get. Maybe not something, like I said, that's gonna get people super hyped, because 1 million at the end of the day from discounters is not overly expensive, but still. After that, the big boy, Club de Nuit Intense Man. Now this, of course, is a clone of Creed's Aventus. It's about $28 online. So not that expensive, still sub $30. And again, that is a 105 ml size bottle. And this one has been received better on Fragrantica than that one. A 4.19 is the score for this one overall as of this video. And that's a really good score, especially when you consider how Fragrantica can get sometimes. So like I said, this is a clone of Creed's Aventus, but don't go into it expecting it to smell exactly like Aventus, because it absolutely does not. Club de Nuit Intense Man is a twist, a take on Aventus, but it's not Aventus. It has lemon, actually a pretty good amount of lemon, pineapple, black currant, musk, birch, basically a lot of the same notes that you're gonna find in Creed Aventus, you'll find here. The opening of this one is the part that can turn people off. The opening of Club de Nuit Intense Man can be harsh, especially compared to Aventus. The lemon is very forward instead of the pineapple being forward. And some people will say it reminds them of like a household cleaner when you first spray this one on. So be aware of that. I didn't like the opening at all initially. And then over time, as I wore it more and smelled it more, I guess I just got used to it. And now it doesn't bother me whatsoever. But still, you'll find some people out there are not going to enjoy the opening of this one. As it dries down, it smells way better. It's a huge compliment puller, and in the air, it smells fantastic. That is one thing that you'll notice sometimes with cologne fragrances, that in the air, they smell absolutely amazing. And then if you get really up close, you'll go, not quite as nice right up close. Thankfully for you and me and everybody else, that really doesn't matter at the end of the day, because how many people realistically are gonna come up and shove their nose into the crook of your elbow or whatever and start huffing away? That's not how they're gonna pick your fragrance up. They're gonna pick it up in the air. So keep that in mind also. But yeah, this one, the most well-known clone of Aventus. Like I said, huge compliment puller. In the air, smells fantastic. The only thing that you can really knock this for is that opening is not quite as nice as the OG, the real deal. And the performance here is also very, very good. And it gets a little confusing with Club de Nuit Intense Man. There's also an oil version, just a straight up oil that you would rub on your skin. I have it, I've worn it a couple times, but I don't really like it. I prefer to wear my fragrances this way, so I've not included it in today's video. But there's also this. This is Club de Nuit Intense Man, the Parfum version. So this one is different. This one you're only going to find in a jumbo bottle. It's kind of weird. It's a 150 ml size bottle. So if you look for Club de Nuit Intense Man and you see the Parfum version, or you see a 150 ml bottle, that's what this is. And it is not the same as the standard Club de Nuit Intense Man. I know, it's kind of weird. Obviously, with this being a Parfum edition and being a larger bottle, it's more expensive. This one you can find for about 50 bucks. And that one has a higher rating on Fragrantica of 4.39 as compared to the 4.19 over here. So no breakdown, you're looking at pretty much the same thing as far as between the original Club de Nuit and this Club de Nuit. And what you're getting here is kind of what you would expect of a Parfum edition. It's smoother, smells a little bit higher end, a little richer. The opening is not as harsh as in the original Club de Nuit Intense Man. So that citrus, again, comes across a little bit smoother, a little bit more balanced when you first spray this one on. It doesn't have any of that harshness, that bitterness that you can get with the OG. And as it dries down in the dry down, it is, once again, smoother, richer, and a little bit less aggressive. And that's why overall this one has higher ratings than that one, because it does come across just a little bit better blended, a little bit better put together. Is it worth paying more for? In my opinion, yes, because the fragrance smells better, you get more of it. So even though, yeah, it's $22 more, you do get 45 milliliters more of fragrance. And just overall, if you're talking about the better smell, I think this one is a little bit nicer than that one. That being said, both of these will get you a lot of compliments and attention. So if all you're after is the best bang for your buck, that would be this one. Because that one at $28, man, you can use that about anywhere. But wait, there's more. Yes, there's also Club de Nuit Intense Man limited edition. Yeah. Now this is the most expensive one, $55, and it's the same size as the normal Club de Nuit Intense bottle, so 105 mils. So it's $5 more than this one, but it's the same size as that one. Now you'll notice with the limited edition, it doesn't come in a black bottle. It has instead this reflective dark gray coloration to it. It says limited edition right on the front, and also the packaging is different as well. The box that it comes in is wrapped with a ribbon and stuff like that. So it's pretty easy to tell if you're looking at the limited edition or one of these. Also, the price gives it away. So this one is rated a 4.59 on Fragrantica, which is kind of crazy. You usually don't see stuff rated that highly on that website. And I do personally feel like this one smells the best of the bunch. So it does go in order of price here, where this one is gonna be the one that is the harshest, I guess you would say. It's still not anything insane, okay? When I say harshest, don't think, oh, whoa, you know, like, oh, run away. It's not that bad, but it is noticeably harsher than these two. So it goes this one, then this one, and then this one. The note breakdown, very similar between all three of these. This one I think has an added note of lime, but pretty similar to the same note breakdown as the fragrances that we talked about before, the other Club de Nuits. Club de Nuit Intense Mans, excuse me, or Club de Nuit Intense Men, I guess it would be. I think this one just smells fantastic. It really, really does. The quality here is much higher than you might expect from an Armaf Club de Nuit fragrance, and if money is not an issue, this is the one that I would get. But as far as bang for your buck, it is the worst of these three, and it's not close. From there, we go to the cheapest in the Club de Nuit line, Club de Nuit Urban Man. You can find this for about $18. That is practically free. And on Fragrantica, it is rated a 3.38. So yeah, not great. This is a clone of Mr. Burberry, from Burberry, of course. To me, it kind of sits between the Eau de Toilette and the Eau de Parfum, but yeah, that's basically what you've got going on here. It has grapefruit, bergamot, mint, nutmeg, and patchouli, some vetiver in there as well as some of the notes in the fragrance. And it's just not very good. It really isn't. Even at $18, I personally wouldn't go for it. It does smell cheap. It doesn't smell very well put together at all. It's a clone at the end of the day of Mr. Burberry, which was not very much in demand when it was released. And Mr. Burberry, for that matter, has been pretty cheap, traditionally anyway, at discounters. So if you like that fragrance, you would just get that one, because it legitimately smells probably 3 times as good as this one as far as just the quality goes. Urban Man, to me, is the worst of the bunch. If there is one Club de Nuit that you don't buy, make it this one. It is not worth it. It's a really poor iteration of a blue fragrance that most people weren't excited about to begin with. From there, we move on to Club de Nuit Sillage. This one is a clone of Creed's Silver Mountain Water. And so it felt like when this one and the next one that we talk about came out, that they were kind of leaning into doing Creed fragrances exclusively for this line, because you had Club de Nuit Intense Man, and that's Aventus, and now you got Silver Mountain Water, and then the next one we're gonna talk about is another Creed, and so it seemed like they were doing that, but then ultimately that's not the way it went. So this one you can get for about $32, and it is rated a 3.97 on Fragrantica. One thing that I'll caution you with this fragrance, don't go really heavy with the atomizer on this one. This is a fragrance, and Silver Mountain Water is like this as well, that if you go really heavy, it can be really off-putting. It can be headache-inducing, it can be cloying, it can be too much. And this one, for sure, if you go heavy with, is not gonna smell very nice. So this one has bergamot, black currant, lemon, lime, ambroxan, and rose as some of the notes in the scent. As I said, Silver Mountain Water is what this is. So it has a metallic feel to it, kind of an inkiness to it, and that's what can really catch people off guard, because there have been a lot of people over the years who have purchased this who are not aware of how Silver Mountain Water smells, and they get this in, they spray it on, and they go, "Ah, so metallic! Ah." What is that? And the answer is, it's Silver Mountain Water. Like, that's how Silver Mountain Water smells. And that's one of the reasons that this one is rated a bit lower on Fragrantica, I think, is because as time has gone on, Creed is maybe not quite as popular as they used to be, at least as far as in the fragrance world goes, the fragrance community goes. Aventus is. Don't get me wrong, Aventus sells like crazy. But some of the other fragrances, like Silver Mountain Water, don't sell like they used to. And so it catches some people off guard who maybe don't know what to expect. But yeah, this one is very brisk, very refreshing, but sprayed on heavily, it will take your breath away. Another alternative to this one is Albasam Day from Rasasi. That's a pretty nice one, and some people do prefer that over this one. But I do think that as far as Silver Mountain Water alternatives or clones go, this is one of the best ones on the market. And for $32, it's a really great buy. You just have to know what you're getting into. And if you're unfamiliar with Silver Mountain Water, this one smells better if you don't go super heavy. So the next one is Club de Nuit Milestone. Like I said, these two came out back to back basically, and this is a clone of Creed's Millésime Imperial. And this one you can find for a little bit less than Sillage. You can get it for about $28. It's also rated a little bit higher on Fragrantica, 4.04. So overall, just very slightly better received and also slightly cheaper. So this one has C notes, red fruit. It has bergamot, violet, and ambroxan as some of the notes in the fragrance. And it's, again, a very good clone of Millésime Imperial. It's quite salty. So you have a sea salty, almost watermelon vibe when you first spray this one on. I think it smells great. Millésime Imperial has long been a favorite of mine. And I think that this is probably your best bet, period, on the market as far as Millesime Imperial clones go. There are a couple of other cheap alternatives to Millesime Imperial, Sean John Unforgivable and Ed Hardy Love and Luck, so you can check those out as well. But I think overall, when you consider the price point, the performance, the smell, everything, this is the best one. Now, it's not going to be as rich as Millesime Imperial. Millesime Imperial does have a much more full-bodied marine aspect to it that's going to come from the ambergris used in that one. Obviously, this does not have the same level, the same quality of ingredients, but it's also like 10% the price. So can't really expect that, can you? I think overall, this one is fantastic. And between Milestone and Sillage, I personally prefer Milestone. Then we go into the next batch, the next 4 that were released, starting with Urban Man Elixir. Now, thankfully, Urban Man Elixir does not smell like Urban Man. They just wanted to reuse the name because reasons, I guess. They just like Elixir. They wanted to throw Elixir on something, and they're like, that's good enough. This one you can find for about 40 bucks, and the next ones we talk about are all in that range because they were released at the same time. This one has a 4.41 on Fragrantica, so very, very well received. And this smells kind of like a blend of Dior Sauvage and Creed's Aventus. Now, it leans more Sauvage than it does Aventus, but you get that Aventus in bits and spurts. You get little pieces of that coming through. So this one has bergamot, pink pepper, lavender, saffron, and ambroxan amber as some of the notes in the scent there. It's gonna have kind of that metallic ambroxan feel coming from the Sauvage, but with a nice fruity sweetness popping through from the Aventus. Huge compliment puller, very, very versatile. And this is gonna be one of the better ones in the entire lineup as far as just everyday wear fragrances goes. It may actually be the best one. It's one of those ones you can use daytime, nighttime, all year long. Good performance with this one too. Absolutely worth it. Then we have Untold, really cool looking bottle there. Again, about 40 bucks, and that is a 4.25 on Fragrantica. This is a clone of Baccarat Rouge 540. So it has saffron, amberwood, ambergris, fir resin, and jasmine as some of the notes in the scent. And this one was the one that was the most popular when everything launched, when these 4 launched. And when I say these 4, I mean this one, Urban Man Elixir, and the next 2 we're gonna talk about. So like I said, it's a BR 540 clone, and if you don't know or aren't familiar with Baccarat Rouge 540, how that can come across, it can make you go anosmic pretty quick. So BR 540 is one of those scents where if you catch a bunch of big whiffs of it, you're gonna go nose blind to it, you're gonna think it's not there, and then potentially spray more of it on, and then you're still gonna be nose blind, and you're just gonna be a walking bomb of fragrance, okay? Same thing can happen with this. So if you spray this one on, and then you feel like, oh, you know, I caught a few whiffs, but here we are 10 minutes later, and it's totally gone. It's not gone, you've just gone nose blind. So don't keep spraying more, and then go online and go, terrible performance, last 10 minutes. Oh no, it's there. And if you're around anybody, they can let you know. And really, you can think about that just with fragrances in general, not just BR 540 or fragrances like BR 540 in general. That can happen, so always be aware of that. So yeah, Baccarat Rouge 540 clone, really well done. It does lean a little more masculine though than Baccarat Rouge 540 itself does. This one is a little bit woodier. It comes out more, very slightly darker, so you could think of it as a slightly more masculine leaning Baccarat Rouge 540 clone, but another one that's really well done. And if you're looking for a nice BR 540 alternative, this is one of the better ones. Then we have Iconic. This one is a 4.37 on Fragrantica, and this is a clone of Bleu de Chanel. It kind of falls between the Eau de Toilette and the Eau de Parfum. So this one is gonna be, along with Urban Man Elixir, the better versatile fragrances, like everyday wear kind of fragrances. Grapefruit, ginger, melon, mint, incense, and amber, some of the notes in this fragrance. And it's good that they did this because Armaf also has another Bleu de Chanel clone called Tag Helm, which is awful. So even though Tag Helm is cheaper, that stuff smells like dumpster water. Don't get it, don't mess with that. Yes, it's a Bleu de Chanel clone, but it's very poorly done. This is way, way better. And as you can tell by the Fragrantica score, this is a really well done one. It's a great alternative, so this one I also give a thumbs up. And then the last one of this bunch is Imperial. This is, again, about 40 bucks. This is a clone of Parfums de Marly Delina Exclusif, or Delina. Depending on who you ask, they may say, oh, it leans more this way or that way. This is a 4.19 on Fragrantica. Now, be aware, this is very feminine leaning. Out of everything here today, that's the most feminine smelling. That said, it smells great. So if you like Parfums de Marly Delina or Delina Exclusif for yourself or somebody else, that is a really nice alternative. All 4 of these that came out at the same time are are very well done. And in general, I would say that the quality of these four feels like a little step up from most of the ones over here. Like these smell higher quality than this one easily. I think it smells higher quality overall if you're just, again, talking quality, nothing else, than Club de Nuit Intense Man, easily Urban Man, and I think these two as well. So these four stand out very well. After that, we have Club de Nuit Oud. Yes, Club de Nuit Oud, and this one is a doozy. So it is a 3.43 on Fragrantica, yep, and it's gonna run you about $65 because it is the newest of this bunch. The atomizer is nicer though, so that's something. It's bigger anyway. This has peach, passion fruit, pear, jasmine, oud, and musk. And Club de Nuit Oud is a clone of Herba Pura, or Kirke, from Tiziana Terenzi. It's right in that style. I am not a fan. I don't understand this one. It has a nicer presentation. The box that this comes in is easily the best of all of these, even better than the limited edition Club de Nuit. But then you get the fragrance and it is sweet, 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 fruity sweet, very feminine. You don't really get much oud in there at all. I don't even like Herba Pura. The original. So obviously a clone fragrance of that, I'm like, oh, great, thanks. Club de Nuit Oud, I think you can pass on, unless you just absolutely love Herba Pura and none of the other clones out there, of which there are many, work for you, then you could get this one. But I think overall that Club de Nuit Oud is a miss. I think that this is the second worst in the line. The quality is okay. Don't get me wrong, the quality is okay. It's just why? Now we're gonna talk about the private key fragrances. And these are weird because they are technically Club de Nuit, but it's like a sub line. So it's Club de Nuit Private Key. So like this, Club de Nuit Private Key To My Life comes in a different bottle style, but then it has Club de Nuit like 2 or 3 places on the box. It's on the bottle, so it's Club de Nuit, but not this Club de Nuit. And these are more expensive. This one you can find for about $75, but it does have a magnetic cap. That's worth it, yep. What, you're gonna charge me like 3 times as much as normal, but the cap is magnetic? Sign me up, yes. I'm a sucker. Now these are a little strange. So this line, the private key line, Armaf worked with mainline perfumers, and they kind of wanted to do fragrances that were not direct clones like these are, but then still yet some of these private key fragrances, when you smell them, you'll be like, oh yeah, it's not a direct clone, but it's kind of similar to some other stuff. So this has citrus, patchouli, leather, and floral notes. And you know, it's a little bit in the style, the way the citrus comes across of something like Tiger from Bulgari, the way that citrus pops, you know, this very lively citrus. It's a good smelling fragrance, and it's nice and versatile. It's a compliment puller. It's well done. The issue with this is, of course, going to be the price point and the fact that it is from Armaf, which means that everybody is going to be viewing this like, well, what's the clone of? And then you say, well, it's sort of like this, but also kind of its own thing, and then people will lose interest at that point. Or at least that's how it comes across to me. So that's this one for 75 bucks. Kind of hard to recommend it, but at the same time, it is a good, versatile, nice smelling citrus forward blue fragrance. Then we have Key To My Love, a little more expensive at discounters as of this video, about 82 bucks for this one. A 3.38 on Fragrantica. If I forgot that one, that was a 3.53. So Key To My Love. Now, while the other 3 private key fragrances are not maybe direct clones, this one sure as heck smells like it is. That smells like a Kirke clone. So it's like, great. We've got Herba Pura over here and Kirke over here. Why? Again, in case you're unaware, Herba Pura and Kirke smell pretty similar. So if you clone each one of those, kind of retreading your own ground. And this one, I don't care what they say. I don't care if they say, oh, we're making our own thing. No, this is a clone, okay? And $82 for a Kirke clone is a hard pass for me. But again, if we're just talking quality, quality is pretty nice, but you would expect it to be because it's over 80 bucks. Then we have Private Key To My Dreams. This one is about 70, so the cheapest of the private key fragrances. And it's a 3.37 on Fragrantica, so the lowest rated. Ouch. So that has pineapple, lavender, black pepper, patchouli, and leather. And this one smells like a whole bunch of different things kind of put together. A little bit latent, a little bit 1 million elixir, a little bit a number of different things. That being said, if you put it side by side with latent, it's very different from latent. If you put it side by side with 1 million elixir, it's very different from 1 million elixir. It doesn't smell like a 1-to-1 of either of those at all. You could even pick out little pieces of like Stronger With You fragrances or Invictus Victory Elixir bits and pieces. It's not the same as any of those, like I said, but you can tell it's inspired by all of those. And in actuality, it smells good. Like as far as the fall, wintertime fragrance goes with nice versatility, it smells really good. But it's gonna get hate because it's expensive and it's Armaf trying to say, hey, we're doing this thing, you know, coming up with our own stuff, but then again, it smells very close to other things, so. But that one is pretty nice, actually. It smells good. 70 bucks, I don't know. There's better bangs for your buck out there, but it's not an awful scent, in spite of what that score would lead you to believe. Last but not least, key to my success. $82 for this one, and this actually gets a 4.04 on Fragrantica. And the reason for that is because while this one, and this one, especially this one, you can pick out other things and you can say, well, even if it's not a direct clone, it's still pretty similar to some other stuff out there. This is actually its own thing. Bergamot, ginger, chili peppers, spices, and akigala wood. This is also the fragrance of these four that had more of the big name mainline perfumers working on it. Like Quentin Bish, for example, had his hands in that honey pot. It's a nice classy one. The spices are not overbearing here. They're not really warm spices. It's more, at the end of the day, a clean woody scent. It's almost a light chalkiness over it, which sounds bad, but it actually smells good. So key to my success, I would say, of all of these is gonna be the most unique of the bunch and possibly the best of these. And then they have a new one coming out in the Private Key line, so they're not giving up on it. It's called Private Key To My Soul, and that one is gonna be in a white bottle, but I have no clue about the note breakdown or anything like that. I just know it's coming. So there we go, Club de Nuit. Man, this is a big line. And there's, like I said, more coming. So there we go. Hopefully this was helpful to some of you guys out there. Thank you for hanging with me. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.